สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. Today I am making a dish called Khao Yum, which literally just means rice salad, but I like to call it rainbow rice salad because that's what it looks like. It's so beautiful and colorful. This is a specialty of the south of Thailand, which many of you know is where I was born and raised, but nowadays it's becoming more popular in Bangkok because of the clean eating and healthy eating trend, because this dish is just full of veggies, but it's also really delicious. So let's get started. The most important thing of a rice salad is, of course, the rice. Now, you can just use plain jasmine rice, but in Thailand, we like to make the rice colorful as well. And the most popular color is blue. And the blue color comes from a flour, a butterfly pea flour, that's PEA. But I can't get that flour here. I could get it online, but it's expensive. So I'm going to show you a workaround. Got some red cabbage that I simmered in water for about 5 minutes. And then what I have is this beautiful purple color water. And you could make purple rice if you want, but we want blue rice, right? So we're gonna have to turn it blue. So let's first strain out this cabbage. Ooh, look at that. Now, to make this blue, it just requires a little bit of chemistry. I'm going to add a little smidge of baking soda. So I'm literally doing this much at a time, and the baking soda will react with the purple pigment and turn it blue. See how it's starting to turn a little bit bluish now? But it's not enough yet. It's still on the purple side. So I'm gonna add a little more. And you don't wanna add too much because if you add too much, it turns green. Just see where we're at. Oh, it's starting to turn real blue. Again, if you put too much, it'll become green, but if it does become green, you just need to add a little bit of acid to coax it back into the blue side. Now, for some reason, when it's like a big bowl of this water, it always looks a little more purple than it actually is. So what I like to do to check color is just spoon a little bit onto a plate, and I find that then I really get to see that it's quite blue already, right? That's it. And then you just cook your rice as you normally would with this water. And you got blue rice. How cool is that? Now we got to make the dressing, which is called nam budu. And I'll talk about what that means in a second, but it's a very aromatic, herbaceous dressing. I'm going to start out with making a paste with all of my herbs, and that is some shallots, some garlic, some lemongrass, and I am using just the bottom part of the lemongrass because that's the more aromatic portion. And then I'm gonna add some ginger, although I've seen recipes that use galangal as well, so it's kind of up to you. I happen to have ginger at home, so I want to use it up. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of water to get that going and give it a blitz. And that's it. It doesn't have to be smooth. It can be a little rough. I just want to make sure there are no more big chunks. All right, let's get this on the stove. So my herb paste or herb smoothie. And now the rest of the ingredients are going to go in, and that is fish sauce. And this is the part where I tell you what budu means. So nam budu is actually a type of fish sauce that's made mostly in the south. I know in Malaysia they make it as well. And it's a similar thing to fish sauce, but the main difference is all the fish bits are still in there. It hasn't been strained out, so it's sort of a murkier version of fish sauce. So I can't get nam budu here, so I'm gonna make a makeshift version by combining fish sauce with some shrimp paste. So this is shrimp paste, as I've used many times before. It's fermented shrimp paste, and it's going to, in combination with the fish sauce, sort of mimic what nam budu tastes like, as close as I can get it anyway. So just a little bit. This is a primarily sweet and salty dressing, so you're gonna need a lot of palm sugar. Especially, you saw how much fish sauce I added, and a little bit of acid with some tamarind. And finally, I'm going to add 2 kaffir lime leaves. I'm just gonna tear it and add it in. So I just let it infuse. Now I'm gonna turn this on and let it come to a simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes until it's really, all the herbs are cooked, all the sugar is dissolved, the flavors have had time to mingle. If it's getting a little dry, you want to add a little more water, totally can. So our nam budu is done. Now you're going to taste the dressing. And if you've never had Khao Yum before, this is going to be a challenge because it will taste wrong. Like it will taste like this is far too strong, too fishy or whatever. But trust me, you're only gonna need a little bit of this dressing. But what you're gonna taste for is the balance of sweet and salty. They should both be prominent. Equally salty, equally sweet. And tartness is just kind of barely there, almost not noticeable. If it's far, far too strong, add a splash of water. But if you don't know whether this is too strong, wait until you toss your rice and just add a little bit of dressing at a time. And if you feel like, okay, 2 teaspoons of dressing and it's already too much, then you can come back and thin out the dressing with some water. All right, time to assemble the salad. So ingredients for the salad are pretty flexible and really straightforward, but there are definitely a couple things you want in there. The first being this guy right here. This is toasted shredded coconut. So you just take desiccated dry coconut, toast it in a saute pan or in the oven until it's nice and dark brown and aromatic. Also, right over here is pomelo. Now this is kind of optional. If you don't have pomelo, you can even try grapefruit, or if you have sour mango, you want something tart and fresh in there. So pomelo looks like this. Okay, so this guy right here, now for a Thai person, this is a tiny pomelo. Pomelos in Thailand are massive. So if you've seen my pomelo salad video, that's a Thai pomelo. And I'll make sure I'll link to that video right here, because in that video, I also show you how to peel a pomelo, which could be a little tricky if you've never dealt with one before, okay? And you just wanna like tear up, like this is too big. You wanna tear it up into smaller pieces. And this is a great recipe for using pomelo that's not very sweet and you wouldn't wanna eat it fresh. It's perfect in this salad. The third thing I wanna talk about is shredded dried shrimp that I have toasted, okay? It sounds more complicated than it is. You just take regular old dried shrimp, blitz it up in a coffee grinder until they are shredded up and fluffy. And then you want to just toast that quickly in a dry pan until it smells like barbecued shrimp. And that just adds a little aroma, makes it a little drier and almost a little crispier. That right there is super important in this salad. Some people also do dried fish instead of dried shrimp, but you want something that's umami in there. And the rice, look how beautifully blue that is. Now, one note, do not cook this rice in an aluminum pot. If you've got an old rice cooker, there's a good chance it's made of aluminum. What's gonna happen is the aluminum will react with the baking soda and it'll turn the rice back to purple. Trust me, I found out the hard way and I was like, what is going on? So stainless steel, non-stick pot, those will totally work just fine. Now the dressing, and I just want to show you, like, once it's cooled down, the consistency that it should be, it should run pretty freely. If it's really thick and gloopy, you want to thin it out with a little bit of water. It's probably too strong, okay? Now, you only need about a tablespoon, maybe 2 teaspoons of dressing per dish. You can always add, but you can't take away. Well, I guess you could add more rice. All right, let's toss everything together first. And this is usually a room temp dish, by the way, so your rice doesn't have to be hot. Look how pretty that is. I know I'm gonna want a little bit of lime juice, but this will also depend on the hardness of your pomelo or whatever fruit you might be using. Oh, that smells so fresh all of a sudden. Now, composing the bite is one of the most important things. That smell, I can really smell the toasted coconut. Oh, so good. That's got some kick to it. Man, there's really nothing quite like it. The combination of all of those ingredients is magical. It is, you've got lots of crunchiness, but also toastiness from the coconut, and then the umami from the shrimp, and tartness from the lime and the pomelo. I mean, it's like sensory overload, but in a good way. And the dressing is just salty and sweet enough to bring everything together. This is such a fun dish, and also it would make a great party dish, and people can compose their own Khao Yum, adding whatever they want. And remember, you can choose whatever vegetables you like for this and create your own proprietary blend of Khao Yum mix. So the recipe, as always, will be on hotthaikitchen.com. When you make it, send me a photo on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And if you haven't subscribed to the show, make sure you do so you don't miss an episode. And click that little bell icon to make sure you get a notification whenever I post a new video. If you love the show and you want to support us, check out our Patreon link in the description below. And I will see you next time for your next delicious Thai meal.